Well folks, it looks like electrical diag week continues. It comes in waves, and I think this is the third or fourth one this week. This is a 1965 Shelby Cobra. It's actually a replica Cobra sitting on a 77 Corvette chassis. Customer states that the vehicle randomly begins to crank. The battery's dead. It's been parked for a while, but when it does run, it overheats massively. So this is a learning curve, to say the least. This is a custom-built vehicle here, and we need to go back to old school principles to figure out what's going on with this this unit. I've already done a little bit of probing and prodding and poking around. It's not the ignition switch down in the steering column. I disconnected it, and the symptom remained. So what I'm trying to do right now is get a charge into this battery. We've got an Optima red top back here, but it's been there for quite a while, and I'm pretty sure it's been dead for a while, because with the key off, look at there, we got a brake light on. That one's kind of on, but pretty dim. Probably a bad ground on the connector on that side. But this thing is drawing down power, so this battery came in stone cold dead. So I've got the extra large jumper cables connected to a known good, moderately good battery. It doesn't pass, but it still kind of works for cranking and testing purposes. And then I've got the charger set up on both batteries connected together, and we're putting in about 25 amps. So under the hood here, let's get her released and unlatched real quick, like give that guy a turn. Oh, we got it. Yep, I thought I just locked it. Anyway, down under the hood, looks like we've got a 454 big block Chevrolet engine. It's carbureted. I see a lot of Summit racing parts on it, nice and shiny. Big old long tube headers that run down the entire length of the car. Classic Cobra exhaust. So what I have found here is the positive cable from the battery, which is located behind the passenger seat here. Yeah, you see her kind of buried back in there. Yeah, tight squeeze on all the components here, but we've got the battery back there. The cable for that battery runs up here into the engine compartment, and it is hooked up to a master disconnect switch. Now, what was happening is when I would go ahead and turn this master switch on, which it's on right now, but when I would power up this master switch, the starter began to crank without the key commanding the crank signal. So you saw my wires in there. I've already connected a couple test probes to this unit, trying to isolate the situation. Let me run this thing up in the air, and I will show you guys what I'm talking about here. So, stay tuned. This is gonna be a very good electrical diag video. Shelby Cobra moving on up. All right, let's see here. Set her down on the locks for some safety action. There we go. Okay, so I've already kind of been in here poking and prodding around. Now, as I had suspected previously, I thought the ignition switch was stuck and it was just commanding the solenoid on at all times. But so what I did is I came in here and I just kind of cut this connector off. It's a horrible connection anyway, so I'm gonna have to fix that. But what I did is I cut the exciter wire from the ignition key, cut that off. That way the solenoid could not actuate. Therefore, I concluded that there was no power coming from that ignition switch. Now, the reason I cut it is it was intermittent. Sometimes it was failing, or sometimes it was cranking with power on and sometimes not. So I just eliminated the possible source, leaving only the main power wire and of course the ground through the body. Then what I did is I took this alligator clip lead and I supplied power to it. I then took this alligator clip lead right here, and that one's just sitting out up top, not connected. That way, from the top side, I can connect these two together and jump power to the solenoid in order to close the solenoid to engage the starter motor. I hope that makes sense. Now, the yellow wire, that one is coming straight from the ignition key. That way, again, up top, I can see if any voltage is coming through when I go to crank this engine. So I basically taken this wire and substituted it with this wire, put it all the way up top, connected this wire to the top, and I sent a known good power source all the way again up to the top. That way I can manipulate the starter without having to raise the car up and be down here. We're just gonna do it from the top side. So I hope that makes sense. And all I had to do was cut one wire. Okay, let's let this thing down. Black subscribe button. That way you do not miss out on any future content. See what I did there? Lock, release. Let's go ahead and let her down. So now we can get back up top and do a little bit of testing here. Hopefully, we're getting some amps in these batteries and I can get this thing to turn over with some relative ease here. Okay, we're on the ground. I'm not gonna make contact with it because this thing also has an interesting type of shifter, and I don't know if it's in gear or not in gear. It does not seem to have park or reverse, or I can't figure out how to get it into reverse. But you can see we have neutral right there. See the little mark? And we slap the shifter down, drive, third, 2, 1. So maybe they've got a manual valve body in this TH400 transmission. Again, it's a 454 Chevy motor in a replica, or I'm sorry, Chevy motor in a replica Shelby. So we've got a Corvette, everything, it's all GM parts with this nice fiberglass body on top of it. Anyway, back down below. Don't mind all this rigmarole. This is just my test light hanging out so I can see if power is coming in through that ignition key. Okay, so let's see if it's not gonna do it or if it's gonna do it. We're going power off, power on, and the starter seems to not be engaging at this time. I did manage to crank it a couple times and maybe I fixed it, but I believe what's happening is the solenoid in that starter is sticking, or it's got a some kind of a buildup inside of it where it's making an electrical connection. So about 20 minutes or so has gone by since I put this charger on here, and we're putting in 25 amps on 2 batteries. So let's step this up to 50 amps and we're gonna see if number 1, this thing is gonna crank, and then number 2, how does it sound when it does crank. So here, let's get you guys kind of set up right over here. Okay, so utilizing my test leads here that I've got hanging out. One is power straight from the battery, and then the other one, this is the jumper that goes to the solenoid. So let's go ahead and power it off. See that we have no power at the starter. Power back on. Starting to engage. So the solenoid is now working. So I would like to go ahead and test the ignition key. So this is the one, the yellow wire that runs straight to that wire that I cut. We're just gonna go ahead and clip those guys together real quick. See that? Now let's run back into the cabin over there and we'll hit the key and see if the starter is going to engage. And that's going to prove out that the ignition switch is functioning and probably not the cause of the situation here. Yep. So it does crank with the ignition switch. Now again, the symptom is not appearing. As I stated earlier, whenever you kind of hit that that master switch to the on position, the starter was trying to engage. Now again, it has not displayed that symptom for the camera, but I also am not liking the sound of the starter. Let's hit it again. Oh, now it's going. Cool. Well, now it cranks. It doesn't sound pretty healthy. I really don't like that. Let's go ahead and key the ignition on. Oh, it is. Okay, let's see if we can't get this thing to fire up. I'd like to see it run. Okay, back to our little wire setup here. No, sir. Nope. Not yet. Yeah, I'm gonna hop in and give it some gas. Maybe we need some throttle actuation here to get this thing to fire up. Climbing. Oh, this thing is not built for tall people. Holy smokes, you gotta be kidding me. Look at this little guy. Itty bitty little car right here. Okay, parking brakes on, which it does not work because we push it in like that. 12,011 miles on the odometer. That 10th ticker right there got me. 12,000 miles, huh? Okay. Give it some gas. Come on, baby. Start. Nope. She said, nope, I don't like it. All right, let's pull the air cleaner apart and check the carburetorizer, see if there's any fuel going through. No wing nut. Ah, look, we flipped over the air cleaner lid. I'm not sure how effective that modification is in this configuration. Look here. Maybe it's a hood clearance thing. Yeah, could be a clearance issue. Regardless, there's the top of our crispy critters. There's our carb. Here, tell you what, I'll step over, reach in and crank this, and you guys keep an eye on that carburetor. Tell me if we're getting any fuel. Nothing, huh? Yeah, no fuel here. I see nothing. Here, I know how to get this thing going. Check this out. A little bit of explosive gases. Let's see if it's gonna fire up with some brake clean action. There we go. It ain't got no gas in it. No, seriously, it might not. Let's see what it does with no brake clean. Leftover brake clean. Yeah, we're not getting fuel. I'm pretty certain we're not getting any fuel here because it's running off of combustible gases. I don't know if we're fueling or not, guys. I don't think it is. One more time. turn that idle up a little bit. Yeah, it's alive again, guys. We got her. Here, maybe I can turn down some of these amps before I cook this thing to death. Probably good. Okay, so next complaint was that the thing overheats all the time and they can't keep the engine cool. So let me get some fan action in front of the radiator over here and I'll check and see if the electric fans are coming on. Here, we'll park that right there. Oh, come here. It's no Gale Banks wind machine, but it'll do, especially for this Cobra. Plug that in. There we go. Yep, there's our radiator. The electric fans are on the back side of it. Okay, so before this thing gets too hot, I want to check the coolant level. Again, they say it's overheating. Oh, yep, it's got coolant, and it's hot. It's hot already. That was fast. Epic fail. You know, why do I have a feeling this thing is just trying really, really, really hard to burn me? See that? Like, it's trying. I know it wants to burn me, but I'm not going to let it. Okay, let's go ahead and start it back up again. Oh, come on. There's that starter. Come on. You thing, you. Yeah, so we definitely need a battery. More power. More go-go startup juice. Not burning my leg. Start. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Hey, let's check the radiator and see if it's got a temperature differential between one side to the other. We'll see if we're getting any cooling through the radiator here. So I've got a laser thermometer right there. Shines a little laser. 101, 115, 117, 120. See that? And over here, 96, 100. Yeah, so it is cooling. I feel warm. And that feels hot, so we do have coolant flow. But I don't know if the fans are going to kick on. 143 at the thermostat. At the fitting. Yeah, 114 at the water pump. Okay, so the engine does have coolant flow going through it. I can't tell if those fans are running because of that fan or if they're actually powered on. Yeah, that one's running. And that one. representation. The fan is running. And same thing on that one there. Here, let's get into the cabin here. Let's see if the gauges are coming on. Tack works. What's that? Oil pressure, that one's good. Temp works. Fuel gauge says it's full. Okay, so all the auto meter gauges are functioning. This is good. I can see you. Hello. Yeah, that's all working. Wonder if it has any brakes. Temp gauge is fairly stationary right now. I think that's okay. Oh wait, she's going up. See that? Thing's a little loud, so I wanted to go drive it, see how it runs and everything, but it has no brake pedal. So let's check the master cylinders. I think we got two of them here. Figure out what the deal is with the brakes. And the survey says both brake master cylinders are empty. Look at that. Nada. Nobody home. There's nothing in there. It's not okay. I wonder where all the fluid went. Shiny. There. Well, since we're on the lift, let's go ahead and run this thing up in the air. And we'll see if we can't find a brake fluid leak while we're at it. Okay, top of the rack. On the locks. Beginning lock. Clickage. Okay, yeah, the fans are they're running their heart out, but I'm really not feeling a lot of heat coming through. Yeah, there's some heat there, a little less heat there, but it's not shooting out a bunch of heat. So I think we may have some kind of a coolant flow problem. It's either not flowing through the radiator, or the pump is not pumping very well, or the thermostat's stuck closed. So I'll have to crack into that at a later time. Let's check the brake system here. Clearly, this stuff's been restored at least once. I mean, these are not 1977 parts. Ah, look! It's trying to burn me again. Look, we killed the spiders. We melted them. Yeah, this thing's hot in here. Okay, so we have, look at that. An old school proportioning valve. See that guy? That's the P valve. You don't see a lot of those anymore. So we got a line coming in, I think from both of those master cylinders. Lines going out to the front wheels and a line going out back to the rear. Following the rear, up and over the axle. Yep, I'm not seeing fluid everywhere. I wonder if it's leaking inside the master cylinder. Or master cylinders. Yeah, electric fuel pump. I wonder if it has a manual fuel pump on the engine as well. Yep, sure does. There it is. We got electric transfer pump and then the camshaft driven pump. This is odd. Okay, that's our fuel tank. Oh, I see. Yeah, you get access to the fuel tank through the top, through the trunk there. Okay, I see what we did. So we got our rear differential right here. Look at that. Single leaf spring pack to serve as the springs for the rear suspension. And then up front, we've got individual coils on the control arms. Okay, cam adjuster for the alignment. One drive shaft per side. This drive shaft might not be seated all the way. You guys see that? Look right there. And then look at that one there. That ain't right. Maybe it is, but it doesn't look right. Wow. Spider-Man. Oh, here's why that light's dim. Look, the lens is not. Oh, wait. No, never mind, I'm wrong. I thought the bulb was sticking out of the lens. It's just over there hanging out. Yeah, look at that. Okay, that one's energized for the brakes to be on. This one's not. Both of those bulbs are dual filament bulbs. So there's one for tail lights, one for brake lights. Okay, coming in through the wheel well here, or through the wheels, we can see this thing's been laid up for a while. We've got some shiny on the brakes, and then right here, see all that rust? That's the area where the brake pad was sitting against the rotor. That's why it's got all that rust in one area. So yeah, this thing's been parked for a while. Now, back to looking for a fluid leak. Since these have been replaced once upon a time, and I can see all the lines, I do not believe that there's a leak in these lines here. Those have all been replaced. They look pretty good. So I am going to have to assume that those master cylinders have a leak. So let's let this thing down and we'll take a look and see if any residual brake fluid is in the cabin on the floorboard. Coming down. Shelby coming down. All the way down. All right, let's pull these decorative chromium looking caps off again. I'm gonna throw some brake fluid in this, both reservoirs, and we'll see where it drains out. Okay, brake fluid coming in. Oh, it's draining in fast too. Fill it up. Okay, we're bubbling in there. That means the fluid's migrating its way down and the air is migrating its way out. Let's hop into the cabin real quick without burning myself. And let's take a look at the inside and see if there's brake fluid leaking out. No exterior door handle. Gotta give it the old reach around treatment here. It's kind of like Dukes of Hazzard style, but different. Ooh, danger. Okay, let's get up inside of this unit here and see what we can see. Got our steering column, there's a brake pedal, accelerator pedal with some linkage, which is a cable. Bit of a rat's nest, old GM wiring. You guys know what that's for? That little button right there, see that thing? Anyone know what it's for? I do. Okay, look, here's the reason that the brake lights are on. This is supposed to be over here touching this lever, and it's not. So when the lever's up, that's supposed to push in, turn the brakes off. Yeah, we can see both of the plungers here for both those master cylinders. Not making jack for pressure. Yeah, I think we've got leaking masters. Okay, let me out of here before I burn myself. Climbing back out. Oh, hat down. Hat down, oh no. I lost my raised repairs hat. Okay, you like that? Shameless product placement. Check out RaymanRaisRepairs.com for more custom hats and merchandise. End of shameless moment of self-promotion. Haha! Hey Dave, can I borrow you for a second? Can you reach in this thing do not burn yourself on these pipes that are sticking out in the open, ready to take your shins out. Can you just reach in there and push the brake pedal down? I want to see if any actuation takes place at all in these wheels. I'm gonna spin it. Just hold it down. All right, let up. Hold it down. Okay. We check the other one. So yeah, we're getting brake actuation. Hold it down. You down? All right. Yeah, not much though. Let it up. Okay. All right, we're good here. Thank you, sir. Okay, so the fans are still running. Let's reach in here. Yeah, we'll shut down the master power supply. I'm not sure why they're still on. I'm gonna have to find the thermostat that operates those fans and see what the deal is with that thing. So, yeah, that's more diag for later on. Okay, so let's think about this here, Ray. Got a lot of problems in this car. Based on all that corrosion and whatnot that we saw on the back of that firewall, I believe that these master cylinders have leaked down and need to be replaced. Look, there's a hole for a clutch cylinder too. So what I'm going to try to do here is find a pair of master cylinders to fit this thing, and then I should also like to get a thermostat for it, or at least pull this apart and see what's going on with that particular thermostat. Maybe it's not even maybe there's not even one in there. They will overheat with no thermostat because there's so much flow that the coolant does not have time as it's passing through the engine to carry any heat out, and they will overheat with no thermostat in there. I know that that seems ridiculous. I've seen it over and over and over again. Cars with no thermostats at long periods of idle or slow speed driving have a nasty tendency to overheat, and people think that that's not the case. It is true. Vehicles will overheat with no thermostat. So if you have an overheating problem, do not remove your thermostat. That is not the problem. That part belongs in there. Leave it there, put in a good one, and then find the actual problem. Do not just think you can pull the thermostat out and have a nice day. And a lot of times on stuff like this, you find them without a thermostat inside of them, and that's not the solution for the problem here. So what I'm thinking on this is I want to take a look at the thermostat, figure out why the fans don't cycle. I want to put a starter in it, pair of master cylinders, and then maybe I can drive it. And yeah, I don't know yet. Well, we'll see how this thing turns out. Now, naturally, nobody on the face of the planet has parts like this in stock. They're not available at Napa down the road. I mean, maybe the starter and the battery, but a lot of this stuff's probably gonna have to be sourced from like custom car places, or maybe Summit or Jegs or something like that. So I need to get to doing my homework, go find some components to install, starting with the starter, and then we'll move forward with the brakes, and then I'll address the cooling stuff once this thing starts and runs reliably. So guys, having said all that, I do not believe I have anything more to offer you on this particular non-Shelby 77 Corvette. Let me know what you think about this car in the comment section down below. Do not forget to engage that like and subscribe button while you're down there. And most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later. End of Cobra, part 1, into diag video, into walkthrough, into big block 454 Chevrolet, into classic car transmission.